Hey everyone, and welcome. I am Morgan Giss McDonald, founder CEO of Paper Raven Books, and I have with us today a super special guest who is launching a brand new novel. If you like a good legal thriller novel, you are in the right place. This is Gavel to Gavel, a brand new legal thriller, the beginning of a series. And I have with us today the author who is also an attorney, has been an attorney for 35 years, 20 of those as a prosecutor, now as a criminal defense attorney, has worked on some very high profile cases and brings all of that experience into Gavel to Gavel. Thank you, Alex Foster, for being here.
Hi, Morgan. It's a pleasure to be with you.
I am so excited to be launching this book with you because it's a legal thriller and there's a lot more sort of nuance and subtlety and discussion kind of happening through the pages of the book. And I'm wondering, would you mind sort of kicking it off and telling us who do we meet at the beginning of the book and what's happening?
Okay, well, this is the story of a prosecutor and all of the characters who live and come and go in a major courthouse. So the first character we meet is Mac MacIntyre, who's a very experienced prosecutor, and he gets a new case, which is a murder. And it's kind of a murder mystery. And the rest of the story tracks the jury trial from start to finish, from the selection of the jury to the cross examination to closing arguments and to a shocking verdict. So we track it from gavel to gavel.
I love it. And of course, you know this process very well, having been through it yourself so many times. And what I love about the setup of this book is that you've given us not just a who done it, but really a much more complex story about. And we sort of were talking about it off camera, and so I'm going to introduce a few little previews for you guys. So if you want a little bit of a nugget here, like, can you describe for us, Alex, the murder scene itself and kind of what surprise happens in the murder scene that comes out later in the trial?
Sure. Well, the new case that Mac gets is a domestic violence homicide where a woman has killed her husband in a very vicious manner with a knife, a kitchen knife. And the man is a very wealthy businessman. And so it's not really a whodunit because we know in the first chapter that his wife killed him, but we don't know why. Is it a justifiable homicide? What is her intent? Is he an abusive husband and she's protecting herself? Or does she have something up her sleeve in order to inherit a lot more money? So, with many criminal cases, the question is the intent. And can the state prove that? Now, complicating things in this case, the only eyewitness is a 9-year-old child, the couple's daughter, and she suffers from pediatric narcolepsy. So she has a disability that affects her ability to see things, perceive things, remember facts, and communicate them. So this prosecutor, who's handled a lot of big cases, has a major challenge because his star witness is going to be a disabled child.
Wow, that sets you up for a real internal struggle. I can imagine as a prosecutor, and we were sort of chatting about this. That what do you do with that kind of moral dilemma, with that kind of witness, and how do you try not to exploit or take advantage of people, and how do you stay kind of true to a moral compass? One of the other interesting aspects, Alex, of this book in particular is that it is gavel to gavel, right? It's in the courtroom, but it's also about the day in and day out of a general prosecutor's life. Can you give us a little bit of insight of, like, why is that interesting? What's interesting about being a general prosecutor that people might not know?
Well, for some reason, people love trials. There's inherent drama in any trial. You have a hero, you have a villain, you have a story, a rise and a fall, and you have a conclusion. And there are whole TV channels like Court TV that people will watch Johnny Depp and Amber Heard fight it out for weeks. And in America, there's always another big case, and people just seem to be fascinated with the inherent drama of a jury trial. And people are called to serve as jurors. So I think everyone can relate to how unusual and how unfamiliar it is to go into a courtroom and have to sit and judge somebody, another citizen. And in the courthouse, you've got all these different types of characters. You have, in my story, you have a judge and you have a defense attorney. There's a public defender. There's the warden at the jail. There are the groupies that come and watch. There's a reporter. There's his boss who's pressuring him. So you're in a beehive of activity with these characters swirling around, and the prosecutor has to keep his eye on the prize and try and win this difficult case.
That's a great setup for a page turner. If you guys are listening and you're like, this is my kind of book, I have some very good news for you. The book is launching. Gavel to Gavel is launching. And because we want to get this book out to as many people as possible, you can actually grab the ebook for free right now today. So if you go to paperravenbooks.com/gavel to gavel, all one word, there's also a link right next to this video. Click that link, takes you straight over to Amazon. You can download the ebook for free right now. Load it up on your Kindle, read it on a Kindle app, read it on your browser, get it ready for the weekend, and go ahead and grab that while you're here, while you're thinking about it. Feel free to share with a friend. If you know someone who loves legal thrillers like this, then they can grab a free copy today and go ahead and dive in or load it up for the weekend. Just click the link next to this video or go to paperravenbooks.com/gavel to gavel. And just in case people are curious, Alex, here, help me fill in the blank here. If you like X kind of book or X author, you will like Gavel to Gavel. How would you fill in that blank?
Well, the obvious answer is John Grisham, who is sort of the godfather of the legal thriller, and Scott Turow, who wrote some of the early ones. But I've read a lot of Agatha Christie and the classic murder mysteries. But also, I think my book would do well for fans of a TV show like Law and Order, because it's courtroom based. I strive for authenticity. I really want it to sound like you're in a courtroom. You learn a lot about the rules of evidence and hearsay and improper foundation and various objections. So if you like that kind of courtroom stuff, this is the book.
Perfect. And what are some of the themes that you're exploring through these characters and through this conflict? Like, what are some of the recurring themes that you think come up through these pages?
Well, if I had to pick one word, it would be justice. And what does a prosecutor do to achieve justice? What rules will he bend, knowing that the ends justify the means? Is he going to let a killer walk free and literally get away with murder? Or is he going to do what is required to achieve justice, not only for the victim, but for this little girl who had her father slain in front of her? So the ethical dilemmas that a prosecutor faces, those are some of the subtext and some of the themes that are sort of churning underneath the surface throughout the whole book.
Those are some good themes, folks. If you like a legal thriller with real substance, both in terms of actual procedure and the courtroom proceedings, as well as that moral, ethical dilemma and those characters who kind of tug at your heartstrings, this is your book. So go ahead and grab the ebook. It's free right now. Of course, if you like the print book, grab the print book. It's there too. Just go to paperravenbooks.com/gavel to gavel, all one word. Click the link next to this video, takes you straight over to Amazon. You can grab your copy today while you're here and while you're thinking about it. Alex, any kind of last parting words or thoughts that you'd like your readers to know as they are diving into Gavel to Gavel?
Well, I hope people enjoy this story, and I intend to do a series. You know, when I was a little boy, I read all the Hardy Boys, and I read my sister's Nancy Drews, and I loved the fact that they were reoccurring characters who I could come to know, but each book had a different mystery, a different puzzle, and I couldn't wait to get to the next. So I'm kind of trying to use that format for more intense, more adult themes, but it's going to be the same courthouse, some of the same characters with new cases coming in, very complex homicide, murder trials. So that's what I'd like my potential audience to know, is that you can climb on board this train and we're going to take you down the road through a lot of different stories.
Perfect. Grab this one. There's more to come. Dive on in. Get your copy today while you're here, while you're thinking about it. Share it with that friend who you know has read all the John Grisham books. This might be their next favorite binge read. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Alex, for being here, for sharing your time with us and sharing Gavel to Gavel with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks very much for having me.
Of course. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.